Hi guys, I'm going to do a quick review today of the Hannspree Hannspad Android tablet. You can get this tablet online for about $159.99 from eBuyer and Misco. I did tell my missus I got it for a tenner though, well that was just to save me from spending the same amount on makeup and treats for her. For that price you're going to get a Tegra 2 dual core processor rated at 1 GHz. You will get 16 GB of internal storage, 512 MB of RAM, 10.1 inch LED capacitive touchscreen. There's no camera or GPS on this device. I mean, if you are wanting to do some chat roulette or you're wanting to have quite a big GPS to put in your car, then this is definitely not the device for you. If you are wanting to browse the internet, keep in touch on Facebook and email, you want a media playback device, a bit of gaming, then this tablet is definitely something you should be looking at, and at the price range, the price point it's at the moment, for the money it's superb. Basically it's the cheapest Tegra 2 chipset available anywhere. That's including handsets, as in phones. You won't get a Tegra 2 cheaper online or in store than this tablet basically. Specs overall, you know, it's basically the same as an iPad 2, dual core 1 GHz, 512 megs of RAM, 16 GB Wi-Fi tablet, and it's a fraction of the price. I think the main rival, the main tablet to compare this with would be the Advent Vega, which you can get from PC World, Dixon's and Curry's, and I think the Vega is actually retailing for about 200, so it's even cheaper than the Vega, and personally, in my opinion, it's actually a better tablet than the Vega. Although the Vega does have the camera and the GPS, but in reality, I mean, not everybody really needs those on a tablet. I mean, it looks good. I like the bezel, the design of the device. It kind of gives a much more premium look. It feels good in the hand. It's made out. It's a plastic casing, plastic body. It's quite light. It's about 730 grams, so it's similar in weight to the iPad. The original iPad. It's not as light as the Galaxy Tab, for example, or the iPad 2, but it's comparable to the majority of the current crop of Android tablets that are out there. I haven't really got anything negative to say about it looks wise. I mean, it looks and feels great. I've taken it out. I get a lot of people staring, you know, what tablet's that? I'm not quite too sure, but I mean, it does look quite impressive. It doesn't feel flimsy in the hand, like it's going to break or it's falling apart. You know, it feels solid. A couple of things to point out: it does have a HDMI out, so you can actually plug this into your TV and play back videos, or just even play around with the Android interface on your TV. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but for playing videos, you can plug it in using the HDMI without any issues and play back your video files. So it makes a great portable media player. So just to recap, you're going to get a Tegra 2 processor, 10.1 inch screen. I will say that the screen isn't the best. That's not to say that it's terrible or that it's bad. I mean, for personal use, for one person using this tablet, you're not going to have any issues. I have got a 5.3 model of the tablet. It's been a big debate online. This is basically like the holy grail of the Hanspad, this 5.3 model. I think the reason for that was basically the 3.3, from what I can gather, had terrible viewing angles. So I just want to point out that the viewing angles on this device, on the vertical axes, especially if you've got it laying flat, which I think was the major complaint about the previous generations, was that you couldn't see anything if you had the tablet laid flat on a table, for example. No issues with that on this device. You can see on the vertical angles without any problems. Will say though, if you are expecting to be watching videos between a group of maybe 3 or 4 people, you will struggle, those people on the sides, because along the vertical axes, you know, you do lose a bit of clarity, a bit of colour, the further left or right you go. But for one person using this tablet, which is going to be the majority of the time, there won't be any problems. The screen is, you know, it looks good. I've seen better. I do have a Galaxy S2, so from using the AMOLED day in, day out, you do notice the difference. But the blacks are actually quite good due to the LED backlighting technology. The colour representation is also quite good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's washed out, it's not as good as it can be, but all in all, I mean, it's a great looking screen. It's great if you know, for browsing, playing games, as we'll see later on in the review. Just to let you know as well, obviously I'm running a Honeycomb ROM here. This ROM is called Flashback 8.1. If you want to have a look at the ROMs that are available for this device, if you head over to slatetroid.com, there is a Hanspad community over there. I think this ROM was developed by a French forum member called AC3. Now, I've got absolutely no complaints with the Honeycomb ROM at all. Everything works. It's not as if you're putting on something onto the device, and as you can see here, I've just had a notification come through, so that just displays the notifications, the live notifications that you get on Honeycomb. Back to what I was saying, basically, yeah, it doesn't, obviously the tablet itself, it comes with 2.2 as stock. I've used the stock ROM for about 4 minutes before I decided to root it and put Honeycomb, which was always my intention. I have tried the 2.2 custom ROM, which is called Hannspree, which you can also get on the Slate Droid website. And I will say that it's incredibly fast, the 2.2 custom ROM, incredibly stable. It's got hardware acceleration throughout, but it does lack those tablet specific apps, and also the tablet UI, which you do get on Honeycomb. Obviously it's made for tablets, it's made for touch interface, whereas the phone interface doesn't really translate too well to a 10.1 inch screen. But anyway, so I'll give you a quick view of what you expect to get on the Honeycomb ROMs for this device. As I said, the 2.2 has hardware acceleration throughout, and Honeycomb ROMs, as we stand, don't have the hardware acceleration. Now basically, if you do go on the forum and see that, what that means is that the GPU isn't really doing the rendering of the UI, and for example Flash in the browsers. With hardware acceleration, all those aspects are kind of loaded onto the GPU, which leaves the processor free for everything else, and all in all makes for a, a much more fluid and speedier experience. But that said, considering that we don't actually have hardware acceleration at the moment, one can only imagine basically how good things are going to get when we do, because right now I must say Honeycomb is absolutely flying on this device. There's no real problems with it at all. I have had the occasional hiccup sometimes, and on the high intensity usage, for example playing 3D games and then coming out to go onto the browser, there might be a slight little pause. Maybe it's the memory management, I'm not too sure, but really that is very few and far between that you're going to see that happening. It's incredibly quick. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what you expect to get with the Honeycomb ROM. As I say, everything works. This is obviously the home screen. I've got a couple of widgets on there. My most used applications. You've got the status bar at the bottom on Honeycomb. You've got the time, date and notifications in this bottom right hand corner. You can click on that. Expands it slightly so I can see the email that I've just received. I can see my battery level and the Wi-Fi network, time and date. You can click on here to bring up basically a quick settings, so you have quick access to the brightness, orientation, Wi-Fi, those kind of things, and you can get into the settings quickly. I'll just click on that and show you the settings here. So it's similar to the Android phone. If you've got an Android phone, you'll be able to navigate around here without any problems. Just take you to about the tablet. You can see that we're running Android version 3.01, so it's not the latest version of Honeycomb, which has the hardware acceleration, but that will be coming shortly. There's an alpha ROM out at the moment showing off that capability on the Hanspad. So I'll take you back to the home screen. You've got 5 home screens to customize, although mine are quite sparse at the moment. This is a relatively fresh install of Honeycomb I've got on here. As I showed you before, this is the app drawer. Anybody familiar with Android or basically any tablet, phone OS will know what this is. Basically, you've got all your applications in here. You can actually sort it to show all the applications, which includes the system applications, or you can just have your own applications which you've downloaded. Everything, as I say, works smoothly, quickly, absolutely no problems. I'll show you, you basically can customize. So if we go to this pane here and you hold it down, brings you the customization. Anyone, again, familiar with Android will have seen obviously the similar options on the phone. So you can go to widgets and see basically what widgets you've got on here. So obviously I've got a few that I've got on there already. I'll tell you what, we'll put the bookmarks widget. As you see, it's flown over, it's highlighted to me that it's gone onto this pane. So if you click on that, now I've got the bookmarks widget on there. So yeah, you can customize this with whatever you want to put on here. As I say, right now it's quite sparse, I've got nothing on here, but as time goes on I expect to fill up those panes with new applications and widgets. So yeah, just to recap, we've had a look at the hardware, we've had a look at the basic operating system, which is Honeycomb, which is not what you get as stock on this device, but it's very easy to update to Honeycomb. So for £150 approximately, you're getting a Honeycomb tablet with a Tegra 2 processor and a 10.1 inch screen, which basically puts this tablet in the bracket with the Galaxy Tab, the Sony tablets, the Asus tablets. Although it's not as good screen wise, hardware wise it's pretty similar, and it's a fraction of the price. So I just want to say this tablet is fantastic. The battery life is amazing. Everything works with Honeycomb, got no issues whatsoever. In the next segment of this review we'll have a look at the browsing and some of the applications, give you an idea of basically how everything's running on Honeycomb. Yeah, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in part 2.